So we're from Group 3 and our report is about Division 5, which is metal. Structural metal framing. Structural steel include a complete section in the specification for this part of the work, in addition to the structural consultant note in the drawings. So structural steel work is defined in the American Institute of Steel Construction, or the AISC, or the Code of Standard Practice. Structural steel shall comply with the following. AISC, or the Code of Standard Practice for Steel Buildings and Bridges. The second one is the Specification for Structural Steel Buildings, including the commentary. Third is the Specification for Structural Joints using ASTM A325 or A490 volts, approved by the Research Council on Structural Connections. D is the American Welding Society, or the AWS, which is the Structural Welding Code, or the steel. And the fifth one is the ASTM A6, the general requirements for delivery of rolled steel plates, shapes, sheet peeling, and bars for structural use. And next one is the A36, the structural steel shapes, plates, and bars, the grade B cold formed steel tubing, the hot formed steel tubing, the anchor bolts, and lastly the type 1 or type 3 cement grout. So next is the fireproofing. The contractor shall coordinate the type of fireproofing to be used with structural steel primers. Next is the steel joints and girders. Steel joints and girders shall comply with the following requirements. A is the Steel Joists Institute for steel cord and web sections. Second is for steel bearing plates. Third is the grade A for unfinished threaded fasteners low carbon steel. Next is the fire resistance rating. So next is the metal decking. Metal decking shall comply with the following: Steel Deck Institute or the Design Manual, the American Iron and Steel Institute, specification for cold formed steel structural members. Third is the Structural Welding Code Steel. Fourth is the Fire Resistance Directory. Next is the all-floor decking shall galvanized in accordance with the ASTM A525. The contractor shall provide additional reinforcement and closures pieces at opening at required force strength. Next is the different types of welding on metals. First is the gas metal arc welding, the GMAW, sometimes referred to by its subtypes metal inert gas welding or metal active gas welding. Second is the shield metal arc welding or the SMAW, or informally as stick welding, is a manual arc welding process that uses a consumable electrode covered with a flux to lay the weld. Third is the gas tungsten's gas welding, or the GTAW, is an arc welding process that uses a non-consumable tungsten electrode to produce the weld. So here are the testing requirements for structural steel installation. First is the torque test, and second is the non-destructive test or the dye-penetrant test. So next is the miscellaneous materials. The materials include the cold formed light gauge structural members. It shall be formed from sheet or strip not less than 5 mm thick and conforming to specification for the design of light gauge cold formed steel structural members. Next is the anchor bolts and the sub rods. Shall conform to ASTM A307 and applicable portions of A36. Next is the bolts, nuts, and washers. It shall be zinc-coated, regular commercial grade, size as indicated, and shall conform to ASTM specification A307. Next, the power-driven nails. It shall be steel, specially formulated to produce high ductility and hardness and capable of being explosively driven through the medium to be attached. The expanded metal nut, it shall be as indicated and shall be of the close mesh, heavy duty and rigid type. Next is the windows grills. The metal grill shall be as shown, provide in every room an emergency exit at window grills. Next, the emergency steel stair ladder. Where no design or detail shown of emergency steel ladder, these shall be provided in accordance with the National Building Code and painted with 2 coats of zinc oxide, metal primer, and finished with dry enamel paints color as directed. Next is the nails. Nails shall be common or finishing of the proper size for intended use and shall be one of the best commercial standard. Next is the workmanship and finish. Exposed surfaces shall have smooth finish and sharp, well-defined lines and arise. Sections shall be well framed to shape and size with sharp lines and angles. Next is the inserts and sleeves. Inserts of suitable and approved type shall be furnished and installed where necessary for the support of piping, mechanical equipment or apparatus or other work. Steel pipe sleeves of suitable type and size shall be provided where indicated and where required for all pipes passing through floors, roof, or walls. Next, the anchors and bolts. It shall be provided where indicated and where necessary for fastening work in place. They shall be embedded in the concrete and masonry as the work progresses. The shop painting. All structural steelworks except for galvanized surfaces and items and steelwork to be embedded in concrete shall be shop painted with the metal primer zinc chromate. And the inspection. The inspection of welding will be performed in accordance with AWS code D1.0 or D2.0 as applicable for the type of structure.
We will talk about the structural steelwork. So, connections for which details are not indicated shall be designed in accordance with the American Institute of Steel Construction Manual of Steel Construction and shall be welded or bolted. So, for the requirements, handling, shipping, and storing steelwork, all materials shall be handled, shipped, and stored in a manner that will prevent distortion or other damage. Structural carbon steel for bolted or welded work, it shall conform to ASTM A36. For the washers, circular washers shall be flat, smooth, and shall conform to requirements for type A washers in ANSIB 27.2. Beveled washers shall be square or rectangular, tapered and in thickness, and shall be smoothed. Washer for use with high strength bolted shall be hardened. Next is fabrication. Structural materials, either plain or fabricated, shall be stored above the ground on platforms, skates, or other supports. Material shall be kept from dirt, grease, and other foreign matter and shall be protected as far as practicable from corrosion. Shearing, flame, cutting, and chipping shall be done carefully and accurately. If straightening or flattening is necessary, it shall be done by a process and in a manner that will not damage the material. So for bolted construction, holes for bolted construction shall be 1.59 mm larger than the nominal diameter of the bolt. Holes shall be clean, cut without torn or ragged edges. For punch holes, the diameter of the die shall not exceed the diameter of the punch by more than 1.59 mm. Next is structure subject to static loading. Holes for bolts shall be drilled or sub-punched and rimmed, except that where the thickness of the material is not greater than the nominal diameter of the bolt plus 3 mm, the holes may be punched full size. For the common bolts transmitting shear shall be threaded to such a length that not more than one thread would be within the grip of the metal. For shop painting, all structural steelwork except zinc-coated surfaces and steelwork to be embedded in concrete or mortar shall be shop painted. Surfaces to be welded shall not be coated within 75 mm of the weld prior to welding. No painting shall be done in wet weather except under cover. The temperature shall be above 7 degrees Celsius but not over 32 degrees Celsius. Next is for pre-treatment. Except as modified herein, immediately after cleaning, Surfaces shall be coated with a coat of pre-treatment coating applied to a dry film thickness of 0.3 to 0.5 mil or be given a crystalline phosphate base coating except that the phosphate base coating shall be applied only to blast clean bare metal surfaces. Next is priming. Treated surfaces shall be primed as soon as practicable after the pre-treatment coating has dried. So a primer is a preparatory coating put on materials before painting. So priming ensures better adhesion of paint to the surface, increases paint durability, and provides additional protection for the material being painted. So next is match marking. Members and component part of structures shall be assembled and match marked prior to erection to ensure accurate assembly and adjustment of position on final erection. For erection, where parts cannot be assembled or fitted properly because of errors in fabrication or of deformation due to handling or transportation, such condition shall be reported immediately to the construction architect or engineer and his approval of the method correction obtained. The correction shall be made in his presence. For the assembly, the frame of steel structures shall be carried up as shown and all match markings shall be followed. Temporary bracing shall be used wherever necessary to support all loads to which the structure may be subjected, including equipment and operation thereof and piles of materials. Next is for the light steel framing system. For the storage of materials shall be stored out of contact with the ground to minimize the contamination, corrosion, and deterioration. For hangers, shall be pre-punched hot-dip galvanized steel 1 mm thick. For suspension rod, shall be hot-dip galvanized steel 6 mm diameter. And shop drawing. Submit shop drawing of the required steel framing assemblies for walling, ceiling, or other application for approval prior to procurement.
We'll proceed to the metal fabrications. These are the requirements of regulatory agencies, National Building Code and National Structural Code for Building. Here are the references, specifications, and standards. American Standards for Testing and Materials or ASTM, American Institute of Steel Construction, and American Welding Society or AWS. Submittal. Shop drawing shall be furnished for all times required fabrication in accordance with provisions of shop drawing. Shop drawing shall show in detail all sizes, shapes, materials, finishes, and methods of attaching miscellaneous metal items to one another, to the building construction, and to work of other trades. Products. All materials should conform with the following requirements and shall be of new stock of the highest grade available, free from defects and imperfections of recent manufacture and unused materials, and workmanship shall be of the best quality, proper, and sufficient for the intended use. All materials shall conform with the latest ASTM standards. All metals shall be free from defects which would impair strength, durability, appearance, and shall be of the best quality for the purposes intended and adequate to withstand the strains and stresses to which they will be subjected. Execution. For welding, all joints in miscellaneous metal work shall be welded by qualified welders. Welding shall be done on the unexposed sides to prevent pitting. Surfaces to be welded shall be thoroughly cleaned, and welds shall show a uniform section and reasonable smoothness without any distortion. For workmanship, fabrication, and erection, workmanship shall be in accordance with the best standard practices of the trade and shall be done by mechanics skilled in the type of the work required. Holes of the proper size in the correct location as required for attachment of the work of the other trades. Cutting tape, topping, and drilling shall be done as required and approved. Work to be built in with the concrete shall be of the proper form required for anchorage and be provided with concealed anchors. For miscellaneous ironworks, these are the items: stainless steel railing and handrail, stainless steel flat bar vertical support, brass stirrup nosing, stainless steel water tank cover and ladder, stainless steel water tank cover and ladder. For the products, all materials shall conform with the following material requirements and shall be of new stock of the highest grade available. All materials shall conform with the latest ASTM standards. For the steelwork, for the execution, installation, steelworks, the contractor shall furnish and install regularly and securely fit and place all steel bracketing works as indicated in the drawings. All joints and splices of metalwork shall be electrically welded and ground smooth. For PI pipe works, all welded joints and connections shown on the drawing shall be done by electric welding, cooked and ground smooth. For stainless steel works, where on the drawings the contractor shall provide and fit and install securely in place all stainless steel pipes, flat bars, round bars, and others as shown in the drawings.
So I am here to discuss Division 6, Wood and Plastic. Different types of wood. There are three types. First one is luxurious wood. The warmth and beauty of wood is a look that only nature can create. From this natural beauty, landscape forms, fashions, tastefully designed, high-quality public space furniture engineered to wear beautifully in the public eye. Next is hardwoods. A good choice for furniture placed in unsupervised public areas. Landscape forms currently use 5 hardwoods: red oak, hard maple, jara, ipe, and teak. Softwood. The advantage of softwood is their stability. As softwoods weather through wet and dry cycles, they expand and shrink only a small amount. As a result, softwood is less likely to warp, check, cop, or split. Landscape forms uses redwood and Alaskan yellow cedar. They are 2 of the higher rated softwoods. The difference between hardwood and softwood is hardwood is typically heavier and denser than softwood and is usually utilized for construction of walls, ceilings, and floors. The highest possible grade of hardwood contains 83% usable material on one face and suitable for high-quality furnishings, solid wood moldings, and interior joinery. While softwood are generally used to make more of the inner structures to the frame of hardwoods such as doors and windows frame. It is also used to produce furniture. Miscellaneous wood members. Stair framing. There are 3 main components in the typical staircase: stringers, threads, and risers. Here's a picture of those 3: the stringers, the threads, and the risers. Floor and ceiling framing. A floor's framework is made up mostly of wooden joists that run parallel to one another at regular intervals. Floor joists are typically 2x8s, 2x10s, or 2x12s. Ceiling joists are usually 2x6 or sometimes 2x4s if it is an older home. Some newer homes have manufactured I-beam shaped joints. Partition and wall framing. A partition wall is a wall that separates room within a home or other building or divides a single room into multiple spaces. A typical use is to create closets. These interior walls are usually not load-bearing walls, although they can be. Partition walls are framed much like other wood frame walls, but some aspects of partition wall framing require special considerations. Formwork. Formwork is the structure, usually temporary, used to contain poured concrete and to mold it to the required dimensions and support it until it is able to support itself. It consists primarily of the face contact material and the bearers that directly support the face contact material. False work is the more robust structure that holds temporary formwork in place, is used in the temporary condition. General reminders. Lumber and woodwork shall be covered and protected from the elements until use. Buildings shall be thoroughly dry before the finish is placed in them. As far as practicable, nailing shall be done in concealed places and all nails in exposed work shall be set. Exterior and interior finish shall be dressed and smooth. Finishing woodwork shall be hand smooth and sanded at the site as necessary to produce the proper finish. When practicable, millwork shall be fabricated in the shop, doweled, mortised, and tensioned together, backed up and glued, machined and hand sanded to a smooth surface, and delivered to the site, ready to be secured in place. All lumber shall be surface four sides. All cutting, framing, and fitting necessary for the accommodation of other work shall be provided. All nails, spikes, screws, bolts, clips, anchors, shapes, and any other rough hardware necessary for the completion of the work shall be provided. All lumber surfaces in contact with concrete and masonry shall receive one brush of bituminous paint.